We are now recording. Okay, so I'm about to do the 5 things it takes to sell a home. So, Kim, you know, it's so funny. People ask me all the time, what does it take to sell a home? And you know, it's really only 5 things. Let me ask you, what do you think the most important thing to the buyer is?
Price or location.
Well, price typically. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because it could be like Hawaii and they love it, but if it's out of their price point. So you're right, price for sure. Now, who do you think gets to pick what that price of the home is?
If they're not independently wealthy, then I would say they're a mortgage company.
Well, I mean, to set the price of the home, you're the seller, correct?
Oh, as the seller? I thought you meant the buyer, sorry.
No, you're the seller. So, because we're on a listing presentation. So, Kim, who do you think gets to set the price of your home?
I would say the market would dictate.
You would never say that. Oh gosh, I'm gonna use somebody else. What seller would
someone
say
else.
the market would dictate? I'd be like, fabulous, then we're good. Okay, so terrific, sign here, we're done. Okay. What do you think anybody, not Kim, because she's already said the market, nobody believes that. Who thinks, okay, Alejandra, I'm taking over with you, my friend. Alejandra, who do you think gets to set the price of the home?
The buyer. Depends on what the buyer likes about the property. I
So
would think,
you're going to give the opportunity to choose what you want to sell your home for to the buyer?
in my opinion, I would think that the buyer is the one that sets it. I mean, the seller
No, no,
does set it, but the buyer
You're
pays it.
thinking like an agent
No?
too. I need someone to think like a seller. Lauren Rodriguez.
Seller?
Mrs. Seller, who do you think gets to set the price of your home?
Me, the seller.
That's what they say, guys. They never say the buyer. Oh, I don't get to pick the price of my home. The market does. That never happens, Kim. I wish it did. We wouldn't even need to do our job. And Alejandro, if they said the buyer, I'd say you are my favorite customer in the world. That never happens either. Okay. So should we just like ask a bunch of buyers what they'd be willing to pay for your home? No, it's Lauren. We're taking over, Lauren. Yeah, you would think it'd be you, but no. You don't get to set the price of your home. I don't get to set the price of the home. Not even the buyers. A buyer could walk in here today and say, oh my gosh, this home is amazing. I'm going to pay $1 million and it's gorgeous. The problem is the bank. They may not agree because they're going to send that pesky appraiser out and he's going to look at other homes of similar size and similar number of bedrooms in the same community and they're going to set the value of your home. So the reality is you don't set it. I don't set it. The buyer doesn't set it. The market sets the price. Now, you had mentioned location. Location. That is hugely important. Now, obviously, the first time you got to pick the location, right? That's why you live here. The second time, it is picked by the buyer. So this is where I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need you to share with me all of the amazing reasons why you lived here, what's amazing about it, because nobody cares what I think. They care about what you think. And we can use that as our public remarks to really help people see what's so amazing about living here. Now, another thing that's critically important is price and terms. And guess what? You do get to set that. That you're in control of. You get to decide, am I going to allow it to be sold to someone with a VA loan or cash only? Or maybe do I feel like having broker opens or open houses? All of those conditions and terms you'll get to pick. Now, conditions important, and your home is gorgeous. You've done an amazing job, but again, that's you. Before the people come to see the home, I'm not going to be there to put the cookies in the oven. So you just have to make sure it's always show ready and perfect. But obviously, you've done a great job with that. So now, I said it takes 5 things to sell a home, right? We just covered 4, and I've not done anything. You're probably wondering why I'm sitting here, aren't you? The reason is the most important thing to take to sell a home is exposure. And that's why I have partnered with Premier Sotheby's International Realty. The fact that we're in over 72 different countries and territories, what that means to you, blah, 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 blah. You got me? So it's the 5 things it takes to sell a home. What do you guys think? Now, try it with people who aren't realtors because because realtors are going to tell you the truth. We don't want that. We want people who are not going to tell you those things. So try it. I recommend it. It's a great thing. And that way you have the opportunity to really practice this because practice makes perfect, right, guys? So then let's move on and let's talk about, you've gotten to the 5 things it takes to sell a home. Now we need to talk about the most important things, value proposition. And in my opinion, you have the value proposition of Sotheby's. And because I lead with exposure, I'm going to talk about the exposure that Sotheby's brings. And not just that we're in 72 different countries and territories, right? But what does that mean to them. Mr. Shane Carson just did a fabulous job showing everybody what it means to have affiliates that we can actually reach out to. Mr. Shane, how many emails and contacts did you send out to our affiliates to tell them about the property? For Caroline. He's on mute. Shane, you're not going to join us? Okay, he sent a lot of them. But has heard back from people, has had great response, because that is what we do as a brand. As a brand, we are the most collaborative group. And for those of you who were on the meeting the other day, I actually shared the email where one of the, I think it was a broker or the marketing director from Seattle, which is where he saw on ListTrack the customers were coming from, who said, absolutely, I'll be happy to not only share this with all of the affiliates, but he sent it to all the affiliates and said, don't only take a look at this, use ListTrack. This is a great opportunity to share information with our Sotheby's affiliates, because that's what we're about. Guys, that's what we're about. It's incredible. So don't belittle or forget to reach out to our affiliates. That's an exciting thing. And I will share that we're going to have a sales meeting on Thursday at 10 o'clock. And I'm bringing in Alex Romine because we're working on some really great things and getting some more information about our fabulous referral network, because it's crucial that we are utilizing that. That is what sets us apart. There is no other company that has that. Okay, so you pick what is great about Sotheby's. Now, there's a billion things, but to me, brand recognition is great. The fact that customers know who we are, the fact that we have an auction house, and so that means that our properties, only Sotheby's affiliates, are showcased at every auction event. I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty exciting, right? To have your home in front of the highest net worth people, not too shabby. Who else can say that? Nobody. If people say, oh yeah, I interviewed Christie's, Christie does that too. BS, they do not. With Christie's, they are paying an affiliation to use the name, but Christie's does not showcase its properties. We have a real estate desk at every auction event. Christie's does not. We have the opportunity as Sotheby's agents to go sit at any Sotheby's auction event and talk to the people from the real estate desk. That's freaking awesome, guys. So Christie's does not have that. We are the only company it does. So it's important that you decide, and it's going to change, right? Because if you're dealing with somebody who's $350,000, am I going to talk about the auction house? No. Right? But am I going to talk about the fact that we are constantly in contact with all of our affiliates, especially the tri-state area, New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey, who would absolutely love to move down to this amazing home. And this price here is so reasonable for them because you can't even buy a blower upper in New York for $350,000, right? So it's important to put it in the perspective of the property owner and the price point. Does that make sense? Okay. Then why Premier Sotheby's? You need to have this down. You need to decide, what do you think? And it's got to be what you think. I mean, of course, I preach from my soapbox all the time about what I think is so important about Sotheby's, but you guys need to know what you think is important about Premier Sotheby's. For me, it's our unique marketing. The fact that we can create customized pieces and then we can target our customers and actually reach out to the right people. The fact that we have a team and we speak, I don't know how many languages amongst all of us, where we can actually translate it and put it in front of people through our social media platforms that go worldwide to get them right in front of the customers in their language, right? So these are things to me that I always hit on. So for me, I love Sotheby's that we're global. I love Premier Sotheby's that we have the unique marketing materials that will be customized for them to not only to give them the best exposure, but guys, if you're in a community, God help you if it's a Lennar community. Did I say that out loud? I think I did. Okay. The reason I did is because everything's included. Did you choose the light or the dark package? Try to make that home seem unique. Now, you're an agent who goes ahead and uses either Cloud CMA or RPR, or God, worse, how many times have you gone to an open house or something and they've printed the MLS data sheet? That showcases the home. Horrifying, right? So we are telling them, not only do we understand that your home is unique, because guys, they think it is. Right? Let's not forget that. Every seller thinks their home is better than their neighbor's. Even if it's Lennar, and almost everybody in that community did the dark package, okay? They have customized it. They have done things themselves. Maybe it's the paint color. Maybe it's the way they put their furniture, whatever it is. But to them, their home is their castle, and it is unique. And so we want to showcase your home. So our marketing materials will never look the same as your neighbor's. If we both happen to have an open house, we are going to have these beautiful brochures brochures. That's where you show some brochures. That's what our brochures are for, guys. You bring them on a listing presentation. And if you're on a virtual one, you can show it to them. They're gorgeous. You can send them to them. You can send them a listing package, right? You could drop it off at their home. Obviously, if you're listing their home, it can't be too far. These are the things they should touch and feel. In my opinion, when you go to a listing presentation, you bring brochure. They need to see and touch and feel the quality of that and what that looks like. You know, you've got to bring a couple things, the top 5, you know, top 10 reasons, a couple things for them to touch and feel. It's the tactile nature of communication. It's the kinesthetic part. So you have to make sure you have something. So I would suggest before a phone conversation or a Zoom, you drop some materials off for them to look at. So you can say, oh, you see that brochure right there? Your home is going to have one just like it, but customized special for you. Do you think your neighbor will? I mean, we don't have to say that, but we know they won't, right? So that's critical, but you yourself has to really think about, in this dialogue here, there's a lot of things here, some suggestions on different ways to say things, you know, worldwide, what that means. You know, another thing that I love with the worldwide thing is people will say this all the time. Like, let's say the home is 350, 400. Carrie, I don't care if it's worldwide. I don't need that. I can sell my home right here. Absolutely. Couldn't they? I mean, couldn't they? That's the reality of it. But let me ask you, sir, Mr. Alejandro, would you prefer to sell your home to someone who lives here locally, who knows our market, who has time to negotiate, or someone who's coming from another, out of the area, out of the state, who needs to be here, who has, you know, just saw your home and fell in love with it online? Who would you rather sell your home to?
I mean, for me, I would want to market both to an international and a domestic clientele. But
You're
international.
Indian.
So, I mean, I would personally like to have someone buy my house that is out of the area, because then they're going to experience something new for the first time. So.
And they're probably not going to negotiate as hard on the price because they need to be there, right? If someone's relocating, their family's being moved, they found your home online, they just want to buy that home and move in. Are they going to nitpick you to death like the one who's like, but your neighbor sold it and they gave this one? You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing. So that's the reality of a worldwide that you can go to. But if this home, let me tell you, if the home is above $1 million, you don't need to go there. Let me ask you, if the home is over $1 million in Lake Nona, how many buyers do you think you have for $1 million price point in Lake Nona? Not a lot. Now you have more in Windermere maybe, but if your home is 16.9 million in Windermere, let me ask you, where are your buyers coming from? Do you think they're coming from anywhere local? No. We don't have many $16.9 million buyers sitting around. So it's really the fact that we can reach to other people who actually are qualified to purchase their home, right? And are looking for a unique property like that. So that's the key. So that's where I would go to with the worldwide, and it really does depend on price point. Okay, so we hit why Sotheby's. So let's see, we come in, we do discovery, we find out their motivating factors. We match and mirror them the whole time. I move back, they move back. Bam, I'm ready to start. You know, so funny. People ask all the time, what is the 5 things it takes to sell a home? Right into it, right? Now we go into exposure. We talk about why it's important with Sotheby's. What does it mean to them? It doesn't mean, well, don't you know Sotheby's? We're everywhere. That is not what matters. What matters to them is that, as a matter of fact, we had a Frenchman who just zoomed into our place and said, come sell my home, because he knew Sotheby's, because he knew the sign. And that is the importance of being from an area. People know who you are and they feel comfortable doing business with you, right? So however you want to frame that, that's up to you. Again, it's going to depend on price point of the home, but you need to have some that you're going to be your go-tos. Why Premier Sotheby's? What is Premier going to do that other companies around us aren't? You know, Barbara Cochran, and not to say anything bad about her, she's got a great show on Shark Tank. I love that, right? But I'm sorry, how many people do know Barbara Cochran? Worse yet, how many people can say her name? So, you know, it's people in Paris may not know her. People in Rio de Janeiro may not know her, but everybody knows Sotheby's. That's the value of a brand, right? And then, why you guys? That is the number one thing you cannot miss, because we have a lot of Sotheby's agents, don't we? We have a lot of Premier Sotheby's agents because we own the region. So why should they work with Miss Sharon Brandt? What is Miss Sharon Brandt going to do that other agents aren't? And it's critical that that is in all of your marketing. It's critical that that is your value proposition that you bring no matter what. So it's important. And if you don't know what your value proposition is, let's have a meeting and let's figure it out, because that is why you. And if it's not why you, now if you're in a team, then it's why the team, and then why you. So there's always, it always boils down to why you. Don't ever forget that. Now, you get through all this amazing stuff, right? You've shared, and this is where the iPad comes in. Oh, you can see, here's your home in the Juwai, here's your home in the Nikkei. You're showing them a home that looks similar, translated into Chinese. I don't know about you, but that's pretty impressive, right? And why do we want it to go to all these places worldwide? Well, imagine what the cost of a home is in Hong Kong, right? What do you get for your money here? And that's why these people are buying sight unseen. Guys, how many people have we heard? Bruno just had somebody. Bruno, who was it that bought that house virtually? Were they from the UK or Brazil? Where were they from?
Oh, they're actually from New Jersey. And I got a call from the wife. At that time, she didn't have an agent, but then she reached out to a local agent here. And it was 1.1 million. And they never saw the house. We closed this week on Monday.
Exactly. Listen, guys, that only happens with Sotheby's. I'm going to tell you, I have been in a lot of places, and not everybody gets the call for 1.1 million. They may get people coming in and buying virtually. I'm not saying they won't. You know, that's like across everywhere, right? But they won't get the $1.1 million. And that's because of the brand. The brand has given us the opportunity to have the experience and the professionalism right there. That's the starting point. So use that and leverage that.
They found this home online, and they had some friends from New Jersey that were in town. So they found this through our marketing for sure.
Even better. Okay, so wonderful. So now you get through all of that. And now is the point to close on commission. Now, I am still working on it. I'm so sad Maud left because I need to have a conversation with her. Has anybody seen my marketing services plan? It has been my little brainchild that has never come to fruition because we keep adding services, so it keeps changing. But it is a fold-out kind of thing. And it has, you know, gold, silver, gold, and platinum. Gold, silver is all the things we offer. Gold is all the things we offer plus the extra things you're doing. Platinum is all the things we offer plus the gold plus some extra things you're doing. So maybe it's, you know, Matterport. Maybe it's aerial photography. Maybe in the gold you add that you do extra social media and, you know, whatever. Those are the things. So my suggestion is to pick some out of each section, so that you know when you flip it over and it says silver, gold, and platinum, 6, 7, and 8, 6, 6.5, and 7, whatever you want that to read, fabulous. So it looks like we're going to go with the platinum plan, and that's only at 7%. And exactly, say nothing. Silence. Mic drop. Because whoever talks first loses, right? We all know that. That's a very strong truth in negotiation. You never speak first. And then when they go, Kim, what might they say?
I don't want to pay 7%. Is there any way you can come down in price?
Okay, well, I can appreciate that. Let me ask you, so which things do you want to take out? Right? We can talk about it. Let's see what we can figure out. And now we can cross from here, pull over to here, right? But now we are negotiating services. People love to shop. Who out there doesn't love to shop? You might not like to shop in the stores, but who doesn't go buying online? I'm telling you, Amazon pops by my store many times a week. I got a lot of kids at home, so it's not a good thing. But everybody likes to buy stuff, right? But nobody likes to be sold stuff. And if you just say, well, my commission's 6%, you didn't even give them an option, did you? You just said, this is it. Isn't it better to let them choose what commission they'd like to be at? And if you just say 6%, they're going to try to negotiate, right? You just started at your, you know, at the bottom. Like you didn't give yourself any negotiation room. So where are you going to go from 6%? You're going to go up? Although I will tell you, when people say that to me at the builder, that was my fun thing to do. People say, Carrie, can you do better on, can you help me with the price? Or I forget how they would phrase it. And I'd say, oh, absolutely. How much more do you want to pay? They'd be like, I didn't mean that. It's just so fun and a fabulous icebreaker. Let me share with you. You know, it's important to know how to handle objections, and we will do more objection handling training, because if you're not versed in handling objections, when you get to this conversation of commission, it could go one way or another, right? Most important thing that I want everybody to know, and we're all professionals here, but if you're out of your area of comfort, maybe you've gone to that $16 million listing, right? And maybe you feel like you're out of your area of comfort or something. You have to understand that emotion, it's the transference of emotion. That's what's happening. Whether you're online or you're on the phone, you're transferring emotion. So it is critical that you remain calm. And that's why I like to be a little bit of a, comedian, because I think I'm funny. But at the most point, I laugh at myself. I think it's very, very funny. And you can get away saying so many more things in a non-offensive way, because it can never feel like this, right? You cannot be at a point of, well, we're 6%. Well, my neighbor does it for 5%. Well, what is he giving you? Nothing. I mean, what did you just do? You just created this battle of wills, and you're probably either not going to get the listing, or if you get the listing, they're just going to fight you the whole time. The other thing is, by the way, especially depending on where the people are from, if you've dropped your commission without giving them a reason, kind of working it through to make it work for everybody, if you just drop your commission, do you not think they're going to try to make you drop your commission constantly throughout the rest of the listing? Anybody want to share an experience where that happened? Never good. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to share with you that it's important. I will continue to work on it. I do have that marketing thing. I will work more with it with Mode. But whether you have that or you're just using the iPad and we create one virtual, right? That could work too. And this is the 6%. It's the beautiful base. Everybody gets it. This is the goals. It's got some extra bells and whistles. And this is the platinum for those who want the best, right? Whatever. It doesn't matter. But then when they say, well, I don't want to do 7%, now we can talk about it. Well, Kim, I know you really wanted that Matterport, but you didn't feel super and really important about doing those Google ads, did you? You didn't really care so much about the Google ads. What if we take out the Google ads, we replace it with the Matterport, and we do it at 6.5? How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Right? I have agents who will do 6, 7, 8, go up to 10. It's whatever you want.
Gary, I have a question just real quick. So as you're removing the services, then you negotiate the commission. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you don't remove it and keep it at the same. You just, what if you start removing quite a bit of what if they choose like already the 6% one, and they're like, well, can we work on some of the services, but you don't really want to go lower than 6%, and you start taking quite a bit of the services out. Do you go down?
You don't want to take out the services that are at 6%, because every listing is going to get it, whether it's 900,000 or 90,000, right? So we don't want to take that out, other than going into the Sentinel. So my suggestion is, if they're like, well, really, we don't want to be at, and this is the key. So let's say they say that, Alejandro, you're at, well, the 6%, this one, the silver's fine, but we don't want to be at 6%, right? Let's say that's the question. I would say to you, Alejandro, let me ask a question so I can understand you better. What bothers you more, the amount of commission that you're paying, or the amount of money that you're going to net in your pocket at the end of the day? Which one's more important to you?
Well, the net, if I was the seller, I would say the net that goes into my pocket.
So if my commission was 10%, as long as the amount of money in your pocket was there, you wouldn't really care. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, great. You see, now we're going to start from a position of strength. And now we're going to build value, because obviously if that happens, we didn't build enough value in what our services were.
Gotcha.
Right? Think about it. If people are like, well, everybody does it, it's 5%. You did not do a great job at showing what our value proposition was. So now we know what we have to focus on. But that's why it's really critical when you're handling objections to find out what the true objection is. If you say it's really commission, it has nothing to do with the amount of net, I just don't want to spend because it's people are getting it for less, that may not even be our customer, right? You go ahead and call, what's that one that does a flat rate? Go, why'd you do that? Like, don't be afraid of walking away. Not every listing should be our listing. right? Has nothing to do with price point, but it has everything to do with the mindset of the customer. And if the customer does not appreciate the value of what we're going to bring, that is going to be a nightmare for you the entire time. You're going to wish you never took it, right? So to me, that would be a takeaway. Well, I can appreciate that, that the fact that you're really set on the number of commission. And this is where, guys, we're going to add this in. Somewhere, I would say in the beginning, during discovery, perhaps after you've matched and mirrored, or it could be you've matched and mirrored, but you want to throw it in, you might have to do a little bit more matching and mirroring, but before you get to the 5 things it takes to home, I would throw in this. So Stacy, there's going to be 3 things that happen here today, and I want you to know I'm good with any of them. You are so wonderful. It's just been such a pleasure to come here and have this conversation with you, so I'm so glad you brought me in. But I want you to know that either at the end of our conversation, we're both going to say, yes, this is fabulous. We are ready to move forward and sell your home. That could be the first thing. Or you might say, you know what? I don't agree with everything you're doing or the price of the home or how that works, and that's okay too. Or I might say, I do not want to overpromise and underdeliver, and I'm not comfortable with either the price of the home or some of the things that you need, and I'm not going to put you in that position. So in that case, I'm going to, gracefully decline and say, thank you for bringing me. I love that. It's a great thing to do. It's actually in the Ninja worksheet. It's part of the dialogue that they have out there. It's under your My Hub, under resources. I always did a takeaway in the beginning because I want people to know it's okay. We may not be right for each other, and I'm still going to love you, and we're going to be friends, and I think you're great, but we may not work together. So that way, when you get to that conversation, you say, remember how we had that conversation in the beginning that 1 of 3 things is going to happen? It's looking like the 3rd. It's looking like perhaps we may not come to an agreement, and that's okay. I've really enjoyed meeting you. It's been great, and I wish you the very best of luck. Again, be quiet, because sometimes what happens is they change their mind because they're just pushing you. Or they may really be like that, in which case run for the hills because you just saved yourself a huge headache. So that's the critical thing. But really the most important thing is to be confident and not to be desperate. We're not desperate. We're Sotheby's. We can get plenty of listings, right? Maybe this one's for us. Maybe it's not. No biggie. Next. That's the word I take from timeshare. Next. So, okay, we're good with that? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so we get through commission. Now everyone's like, oh my gosh, we went through all this and I've never even seen your home. You have to show me your home. You see that, how that comes in really handy now to bring down tension. And what I love to do is I'd love if you could show me your 5 favorite things and let me take a couple pictures so I can start working on some marketing ideas. What did I just do? I just closed on them. I just put them in the picture that we're working together, right? I mean, we haven't even gotten to the price of the home and I'm already taking pictures for marketing, right? So that's a great thing. The other thing, and I've told this, so all of you guys who have been on this presentation before have heard, but for you guys who are new, I'm going to share this. The other reason that I talk about discovery before, and this happened to me, so I like to bring it up. I do love doing a great discovery. I've always been that way. And in one discovery, I found out this woman really loved shoes, which of course was a wonderful point of communication between us because I love shoes. But when I got to her closet, holy God, it was an explosion. And these weren't a bunch of Jimmy Choos, right? I don't know. But had I not had that conversation and known how important these shoes were to her, I might have just said, we got to clean some of that stuff up because when people come in here, we want it to look big. That could have been extremely offensive to her. But because I knew how important these shoes were to her, I could be able to handle that in a very different way. And I said, oh my gosh, you are not kidding. These are amazing. They were amazing, amazingly horrifying, but they were amazing. So I said, we need to make sure that we pick all of this up and we hide it because we don't want anything to happen to these precious shoes. Right? I might not have said it that way if I didn't know how important that was to her. So it is critical to really find out these things before you tour their home, before you say something that could really offend somebody. Because if they don't like you, it doesn't take anything for them not to like you. And to try to get them to like you after that point, you're done. It's over. So another reason I like to do that in the middle. Okay. So now we've toured the home, we had a nice conversation, I've taken some pictures, oh, everything is warm and fuzzy again, and now we get back to the table. And what are we doing at the table? Price, right? So that's where I'm going to share the screen really quickly. And we're going to talk about, not this one, not this one. Oh, I don't even have it open. That's fabulous. I thought I did. Everybody saw the Power Sellers Report, maybe? Training Power Sellers Report. This is a fabulous report. Anybody? Everybody see this?
Yeah.
Oh, where'd it go? Ooh, Live the Extraordinary. You can change the pictures if you want, put anything you want on it. So, everybody sees it. Maybe some of you have it. What is the Power Sellers Report? Anybody?
CMA.
Yes, but we don't call it a CMA. And there's two reasons we do this. One, most important, is because typically we are competing. Whether we know it or not, we're competing. They may know what do they say? The average person in Orlando knows like 7 to 12 realtors, right? Or it could be their neighbor who's a nurse, but she will give them a 4% discount to sell their home. Good luck with that one, right? So there are tons of people that you are competing with that you may not even know about. So I like to kill competition before it even rears its ugly head. And a great way to do that is the Power Sellers Report. Because this is where I explain, it's so interesting. I don't know if you've ever spoken to another agent about this, but most agents will come in and offer you what's called a CMA, a comparative market analysis. Have you heard of that before, Lauren?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you ever shown you one for your home? No. I might go there too. It depends, right? Because sometimes they don't want to tell you. But this is a good opportunity too to see if they've been talking to other people. And the reason they do that is because most companies, well, actually, all that I can think about, they just have a different setup than Premier Sotheby's. See, with Premier Sotheby's, we're very focused, not just selling your home, but finding the buyer, making sure that we're using all of our tools and resources like we talked about so we can actually target the buyers who are right for your home and who can afford your home. And that's really what we're focused on. But most agencies really focus on the 3 Ps. Have you ever heard of the 3 Ps, Lauren? I know you wrote it down the other day.
No, what are the 3 Ps?
Well, typically they like to place a sign in the yard, put it in the MLS, and pray someone else sells it. But you see, we're not like that. The 3 Ps are really fun, guys. I think it's a real fun one. You can throw it out there. It is a bit of a dig, but it's always fun. You get a chuckle from it. So again, it's place a sign in the yard, put it in the MLS, and pray someone else sells it. And that's the truth. That's their strategy. But I don't think that hope is a strategy, so we don't do that. We actually are focused on always making sure that we are putting you in the proper power seat, which is why we do a Power Sellers Report. So what the Power Sellers Report is of course, we are going to do a comparative market analysis and make sure that we look at like homes in your neighborhood within 1 mile that have sold within the last 6 months. But we're going to look at it a little differently too, because we're not going to look at it from the agent's perspective. We're going to look at it from the appraiser's perspective, because at the end of the day, if there's financing, we want to make sure that we feel comfortable your home has a great chance of appraising. But in addition to that, remember, we're all about finding you that buyer. And so to be able to do that, we want to put you in the power seat and know what the buyers are looking at. And this is the beautiful thing, guys. You take a screenshot of Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, whichever ones you want. I would always suggest putting Zillow in there. Whichever one helps you explain your price. Whichever one gives you a better opportunity to really be able to put them where they need to be, right? And you show them, this is what people who are looking on Zillow are seeing your home is worth. You're showing this estimate. This is what people on Realtor.com are showing your home is worth. It will help you with that pricing if you pick the right ones every time. So it is fabulous, and it really just kind of brings them back. Now, I love when they get this one. Well, Carrie, if we just say cash, we can go way above the price, right? Has anyone heard that one?
What if Zillow is totally overpriced?
Then I probably wouldn't show it. If it's totally overpriced, I probably wouldn't show it. I know. Yeah, unless you can show that it won't appraise, but that's when you kind of have to dance around, because usually the bill is not super high. Usually
that's what they do. I mean, they usually show us, my house in Zillow is $1 million, and you go there, it's not even.
Well, but they also will show what they bought it for, usually right next to it, and that also kills it too, because then you can point out the obvious. They're saying this is your estimate, and they're saying this is what you paid for it, and so now people are going to think that you're being greedy. Right? So you can come up with other things, based upon what the report says. But you're right, it can be a challenge. So the one about cash, I love that one. Has anybody heard that? Well, cash, then Carrie, we just want cash because we want to come in higher than everybody. And nobody's ever heard that one? I love when I get that one. The response to that one is, let me ask you, Kim, how do you think people have money? Do you think it's because they buy lots of homes for more than the neighbors' homes and they don't get it appraised?
No.
No. They're probably going to come in with their lower offers, don't you think? Because they think that their offer is higher than everybody else's because it is cash. So those tend to be lowball offers. So is that what you're looking for? Lowball offers?
Definitely.
No lowball. So, anyway, so there's always ways around everything. So that's your power sellers report. And it's just a great way to get to price. Now, I do not ever believe that you should set the price, because even if you are even if you're an appraiser, for Pete's sake, you may not be right. If it sells for $1 off of what you said, you were wrong. So look, we can be blamed for everything in this transaction. You recommend a mortgage person, they mess up. Whose fault is it? Yours. You recommend a title company, an inspector, whoever, and something happens. Whose fault is it? Yours. Like, it's amazing. We do so many, none of these things, but we're responsible for all of them, right? So we don't want to be responsible for price too, because that's an ugly conversation. So we want to make sure that we give them a range. This is what they're selling for. Again, now we go back to the motivating factor. You shared with me you need to be in that home in 60 days, 30 days, whatever that case is. Right? Now we can help use the motivation to set the price properly. Thank you, Bruno. Good luck in your appointment. So everybody, does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Now we've got through the big things. We did our discovery. We did the 5 things it takes. Well, then we set them right? 3 things can happen. I'm going to add that in here. Then we did the 5 things it takes to sell a home. Now we do a beautiful listing conversation. We do our marketing preview and we let them pick their services. Now we preview the home. Now we come back to the table. We do the power sellers report. We get to the price. Now we get to close. Anybody want to share with me one of their closes? Let me tell you what is not a close first. Do you have any more questions? That is not a close. Do not ask that. And I'm going to say this too, just for sake of sparing anybody. I hate this. Do not say this. If I hear this, think of me coming at you with like a wire hanger. Okay. Is there anything that would keep you from doing business with me today? Dear God, now I'm thinking there's got to be something, right? You just told me that. Maybe you're a felon. I don't know. Like, what's happening? Why would you tell me that? Horrible. Don't put an objection in their mind, right? So these things are not closing techniques. Anyone want to share with me one that is? Nobody.
Do you need a pen to sign the agreement?
Do you need a pen? That's a cute one. I like that. Do you need a pen? That's cute. Anybody else? Nobody wants to do it. They're all afraid because I just said the one they were going to say. Is there anything that would keep you from doing business with me? No, I'm just kidding. No one's going to say that ever. Never, never. And if you did, don't ever tell me that, because I'll probably turn really white and just like look at you like a deer in the headlights. And that doesn't happen to me very often because I won't know how to respond to that. So don't do it. This is where this comes from. Let me share this. This is a close that I have been using literally probably for decades. That is called a summary close. And it's big in builder world, but it works beautifully in residential. So you just whip out the little piece of paper here and you say, oh, great. So let's go over a couple of things, make sure we're all on the same page. I am so excited. I feel really great about the fact that we've gone with the platinum plan, but we're going to switch out the Google ads for the Matterport, and we're going to do that at 6.5%. But listen, don't be telling all your friends and family, because I know you're going to refer me to everyone, and I'm not able to do that for everybody. So just keep that between us, okay? Great. Price and terms. I feel very comfortable with that price we have set. And as we stated, we're going to start the home at $650. But if we don't have at least 10 showings and 1 offer in the first 2 weeks, we're going to go ahead and drop that price $5,000. Guys, I'm doing that ahead. And that better be in the listing agreement, because if you don't do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. Now, we talked about communication, and obviously communication is as important to me as you. And as we spoke about, you're going to be getting that list track report. You're going to get the pulse report showing you all the things we're doing, and the list track report telling you how it's working. You'll be getting them once a week. But I also really like to speak to my customers. I want to make sure that we're always in constant contact. So I'm going to contact you once a week. And I like to do it on Mondays because I feel that the market speaks the loudest over the weekend. So is there a time Monday that works for you? Morning, noon, or evening, Lauren?
Yeah, Monday evening.
Evening, great. Do you prefer a phone call, a text, or an email?
Text.
She's my hero. Listen, guys, when we don't ask that, we just took that off the table. But gosh, wouldn't it be great if all of our sellers wanted us to text them? Oh, beautiful. Okay. You could even be texting them a little video. Hey, guys, just wanted to share all these great things, and you text that. But you're not stuck on that phone with them for an hour listening to about God knows what, right? So much better. So I'm going to write that down. And I would say the last thing I guess we have to talk about is what day do you want your listing to go live? Now, some people think that Tuesday's the day. Gives you time to build up for the weekend. Other people think Thursday's the magic day. Boom, hit them over the head right before the weekend. Which would you prefer? Lauren?
Oh, the weekend.
Thursday. Great. So we can have the photos done by then. La, la, la. Okay, we're going to go live on this day. Terrific. Sign here. Now they feel that they're in a contract. Are they in a contract? No, they signed a little summary close sheet. We're not in a contract at all. But I personally then like to go over the contract with them. And then I like to explain that there's two different contracts that people work with. One's called a standard residential contract. One's called an as-is. Which would you prefer? You know, and then I might either have them sign the documents there or have them give them the seller's disclosure to fill out and send the rest to them. So it depends. Are we virtual? Are we on the phone? Like what kind of a communication are we having? But that's it. We just did a listing presentation and I did it in time. What? It's a crazy thing. Any questions? Anybody want me to cover anything? Everyone's like, oh my God, you went so fast. I don't remember it. Yes, Kim.
So you'll probably yell at me for this, but why wouldn't you bring the actual listing agreement and just have it pre-filled out and then leave out like the price and the commission amount?
Oh, I always would. Oh, no.
Oh, okay. So, but then you would do that in lieu of this, or?
No. I do this first.
Okay.
And then I'll go into the listing.
Okay. So you then if you've agreed on all that, you can have it signed right then and there. I mean, without.
Because
Okay.
we've already looked at all the important things, haven't we? Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I usually, if it's me, I like to have the written one ready to go. I also like to have it ready on Dotloop so we could just do virtual signing, which they can sign right on my iPad right there. You know how many times I've done that? It's foreigners love it because I'm translating it for them and they're signing it right there. I mean, it's fabulous, right? It's super easy. They're signing the iPad and I'm explaining it in Spanish, So, but yeah, absolutely. I'd have both. Any other questions? Thoughts?
How often does a Sotheby's agent have listings 7, 8, 9, 10%? I've never heard about that.
Oh, I could name a couple actually. So it really depends on where you come from, Cindy, to be honest. If you've done general all your life, no one's ever taught you that. If you worked at a builder, you know we do that kind of stuff all the time. It's called incentives. And so that's how we work. You want the lot premium, you want to add that structural options. When you're from Builder World, that's how we roll. So most of my builder agents are the ones who are very comfortable and have been doing that long before they had any kind of marketing preview. Mm-hmm. But general agents, you're right. Typically, they've never been taught that. They're not comfortable with that. It's not something that they're used to. So it has nothing to be Sotheby's. It really has to do with Sotheby's. I can't believe I said that. Sotheby's. It has everything to do with your background in real estate. Anybody else? Questions? Thoughts? Anybody learn anything? Thank you, Lauren. All right. Yay. Well, I'm excited that we were able to. Hi, Raj. It's great to see you. Glad you were able to join. Miss Carla, glad you were here. So, Noreen, wonderful to see your name. And Mr. Shane and Cindy and everybody. It's like romper room again. So. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Again, I'm going to be sending out an invite for our sales meeting. I'm going to do trainings weekly because we're now doing these wonderful Matthew Ferraras once a week, every the first of the month, and then the third of the month, Peter Parnag is going to be doing some ninja training. So it's going to be fabulous. So in an effort to not mess up that flow, I'm thinking of moving to Thursdays at 10. Does everybody here think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
Thank you, Stacy. Okay, so Thursdays at 10 is when I'm going to be doing it. Now, I will probably be adding extra trainings in. Thanks, Carla. And I'll probably be doing those on Mondays as extra trainings. So I'm not going to kill you on Thursday and Friday. I'll try to spread it around, my love. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay, guys, have a great weekend. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Thanks, Carrie.